Hi, Justin Love, your realtor here in the Okanagan, coming at you from my beautiful self-isolation in Vernon, BC home office. Today, a very common comment I hear as I'm talking with various peoples is, gosh, real estate prices are so unaffordable. Young people just can't afford to buy a home. I'm afraid of the future. That is actually a valid point. I mean, prices are rising, but they're always rising. That's not really going to change. I mean, certainly if you live in New York, Toronto, or Vancouver, it is what it is. That's life. I would even venture in some of those larger markets, it may not be the best thing to own property, at least in my mind, as far as you're not going to get, at least for as far as investing as a rental property, how are you going to get your money back? But if you could still squeeze into that market, you're going to be getting appreciation. So again, it's still better to get something than to have nothing. Those are my personal feelings. You know, when you move out of a rental, no one gives you a rebate. You get your deposit check back. And that's if you kept the place perfectly clean. Whereas if you leave a home that you've lived in for 10 years, you're going to have some equity coming your way. Maybe an extra $100,000, $200,000, even if it's $25,000. Again, no one's giving you $25,000 to leave a rental property anytime soon. So, to go back to the first point before I digress too much, how can young people afford houses? They can't. That's it. They can't afford it. Some can if you have a really super fantastic job and you've been really smart. It's unfortunate, but in our education system, they don't really do much to teach about interest rates, credit scores, mortgages, how to save. To be fair, I mean, when I went to school, they had a chapter in one class. That was it. One chapter, one class. It's literally one of the most important things is financial well-being. It's the number one thing that you're going to be endeavoring upon the whole rest of your life. Oh, here's one class, one chapter. That's it. But let's go on and on about history and physics and whatnot. I mean, those are important subjects as well. I mean, you got to know your past, to know where you're going, and you got to know a little bit of math. But those aren't skills you're going to be cracking out every single day to help survive. You can have deep thoughts about being broke while you know all your physics. So, how can young people afford the house? They can't. What can they do though? I was a young person. Some of you might still think I'm young. I'm pushing 40, getting close there. I like to still think I'm young. I digress. What can you do? You can climb the property ladder. Again, if you don't get hung up on the things you can't do, focus on what you can do. I can't change the political, socioeconomic systems. I can't do it, but I had to adapt to it. There's a reason why I live in Vernon. I don't just live here for my health. I really loved Vancouver. It was great when I went to university there, but circumstances brought me back here, and it turned out I thrived. If I were still living in Vancouver, I might be owning multiple properties right now and doing okay. Might not. It's a little harder to get ahead there. But here I discovered, pretty easy to get ahead. Easy to get ahead if you recognize that your credit score is important. Easy to recognize you're going to need a long-term career you can do financially well in. Again, don't do real estate for my health. I loved art growing up, but I didn't see a way I was going to make good money doing art. Probably could have if I was smarter, but I wasn't that smart when I was younger. So I went for the clearest direct path I could to make money. That was just it. That was my choice. But anyways, do what you can to improve your earnings. Save 10% of everything you make is yours to keep if you save it. Or I like to go out and have a good time and party. That's your problem. I like to drink cigarettes. Get a better health habit. Drop the cigarettes. How much money do you blow on cigarettes and booze? You can still have those things. And that's okay. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying you make those things a financial priority, but if you made saving 10% of everything you make as a financial priority, you could probably get ahead a whole lot faster than you thought you could. You know, maybe you spend a few less money, a few less dollars on the cigarettes or the booze, or whatever else you enjoy. If you like spending $20,000 a year on shoes, that's okay as long as you saved money and have the rest of your financial well-being set up. And that's a whole long another story on how to do that. But I'm just saying, you can have your cake and eat it too, but life with principles. You got to have your principles organized and live by them. So save that money, protect your credit, get a good income. It doesn't have to be a stellar income, just a good solid income where you can save your money and get ahead and still have some fun in life. then start small. Townhouse, condo. I don't care if you like to live in a condo or not. Oh my God, I don't like neighbors and I can't have a dog and this and that. Now's not the time to have a dog. Now's not the time to worry about neighbors. I don't care. I lived with a million neighbors. I even people say, oh, it's so sad, people children living in apartment buildings that don't have a park or a backyard outside. Go to the park. There's millions of people around the world that live in apartments and they raise their kids in apartments. They don't have backyards, but they have parks. Parks are everywhere. It's not the end of the world. Get into the market. Do something. You can always do something. I don't believe in you can do nothing. I don't believe in it. There's always something you can do. If you fight hard enough, you'll find a way. But get in. I don't care if it's a $100,000 piece of crap townhouse or condo. Get into it. Fix it up. Make it nice. In a few years' time, if you did right and you did well, all of a sudden maybe it's worth an extra $20,000 plus the money you've put in paying off the mortgage. Now you got $40,000. Oh my gosh. You can take that $40,000 once you sell and you can put it into a bigger or nicer townhouse. And you rinse and repeat. Then maybe now you got $200,000. You can buy an okay $400,000 home, $450,000 home. And then you keep doing that. Now, it's not going to be overnight. You're not going to be living the Shangri-La overnight. You're going to have to make some sacrifices along the way. Now, if you don't care about having neighbors and having pets, then it's not really a sacrifice. You're laughing. I mean, that's the ultimate luxury. You get to live somewhere and it doesn't bother you. You're happy. You got to make peace, though, with those choices. You got to make peace with, you got to delay your gratification in hopes of a better tomorrow. Again, my wife bought a little townhouse before we even got together. She was so smart and ahead of the game. I bought a rental townhouse. Again, know nothing little place. But over time, both townhouses were worth more money. So we were able to rent out the one townhouse, make money. Then over time, enough equity and appreciation built up in both the properties, we could take some out of both combined with some of our savings and buy a house with a rental suite. That helps keep the mortgage low. Otherwise, we couldn't afford to be in this house. And sometimes, yeah, it gets a little scary when maybe a tenant moves out. But all three tenants moving out one time, not likely. Possible, always possible. Have some savings. You got to prepare a little bit for tomorrow. But that's how we climb the property ladder. Start small, work your way up. I don't want to do that. I don't want all the neighbors. I don't want to hear you complaining. I hear people complain all the time. Well, that's why you're broke. Go sit, be broke, and keep renting, and keep paying for a $100,000 truck while the next person that owns the house next door is getting ahead, and you wonder why they moved out, buying a nice house up above you, because they weren't paying a huge lease for a truck that they don't own. It's garbage. Garbage. It's principles. And again, if that's what you're doing right now, that's okay. Now you know. No one's perfect. We all start off making mistakes. By having a goal, ultimately, right away, if you have a goal that's something you don't have already, you're not worthy. You're automatically not worthy. But you wanting to pursue that goal, learning and getting better, and in hopes of advancing and getting forward and achieving it, that's what makes you worthy. Pushing forward, admitting, hey, I'm doing something wrong here. Now I'm going to get better. So, whenever I hear people say, oh my God, the youth, how are they going to get ahead? It is tough. It is not easy. But again, no one said you had to live in the Okanagan. No one said you had to live wherever you're at. You got to go where the money is. If all of a sudden everything changed and I couldn't make any money in real estate, my wife got fired from her job, and we had to move somewhere else, it's sad. It's heart-wrenching. But guess what? No one told me I had to stay here. I can move. I can go somewhere else. You got to take care of yourself. And it would be great if we have more people here and things are more affordable. And it's always great. And that's totally what I'm in favor of. But you have to live with today. And tomorrow's not promised today. So if you want to get ahead, you can either complain or you can find a way to figure it out. I'll help you figure it out. I mean, we've made it this far, and I started with nothing. Nothing. I came back from Asia with $10,000 in my pocket, and then I went broke trying to start a business. I learned a lot along the way. Then I pivoted into real estate, and then I went into debt with money I didn't even have. And just on a hope and a prayer that I'm going to figure it out and make it work during a recession. I'm not special. I'm not that great. But I just worked. And hoped like hell it was all going to work out while I was working hard. And I tried to save a little bit of money along the way. And I started small where I could. I was living in my friend's one-room basement. Or I was living in a room in a basement. I didn't even have a basement suite. It was just a room in my friend's basement as I was starting out in real estate. And I drove this car that literally my clients, my listing clients, could hear me coming about a mile away before I got there because the muffler was so loud. It was this busted old broken car, and that's all I could afford. So don't get me wrong, I know what it's like to start at the bottom. I know what it's like to not have everything you want. I know what it's like to feel awkward and a little depressed because your outside life isn't matching who you are on the inside. It's tough, but you have to take that, channel it, start small, work your way up. Those small everyday little habits will grow. And all of a sudden, all those small little choices you made turn into big results down the road. Like all of a sudden one day a mortgage broker telling you, actually guys, you got about $100,000 worth of equity in this townhouse. Say that again. And you go, oh, okay, well we got some more options now. But even if things didn't turn out that way, still keep grinding. So if it's tough right now, I'm sorry for you. I have empathy. As someone I listen to, Steve Larson says, I have empathy, but I don't have sympathy. Get out there. Start small. Do whatever you can. Make it happen. And if here's not the place for you to do it, go somewhere else. And I don't say that in a flippant way, but go where the economics are at your advantage. Don't start at the disadvantage. So it means working out north, you gotta be out for 2-3 weeks at a time, but you're gonna make the big money. As long as you're smart and save that money and you get ahead, hey, that's great. All power to you. Anyways, bit of a rant video today. I've heard that one so many times, and it is tough. But usually the people that rant about it, they're doing okay because they figured it out. And some of the people that are complaining about it are also the same ones that fall victim to the exact same thing they're complaining about. I can't get ahead. Again, I have empathy. I don't have sympathy. Get out there, make it happen, do what you can. And if you're not willing to put in the time, work, effort, and energy, then don't complain. Just accept that this is what you wanted out of life. Again, you can hope that things are going to change, or you can try to change them, either by being an activist of some sorts, or actually going out there, doing the work, and making some money, and making some changes in your life. Okay, I think I've ranted enough today. I hope that helps a little bit. As always, any questions, let me know down below. Please subscribe, sign up for the alerts. See you in the next videos. Thanks.